Welcome to the lunation situation. If you are watching this, you have survived one of the toughest times of 2023. We have been in a grand fixed cross since at least May 16th. The energies were very dense, very heavy, very intense. There was a great theme of loss, endings, and just massive shifts in energy. And I'm sure you've noticed that. If you had personal planets at the beginning of the fixed signs, which means if you had anything at the beginning of Taurus, the beginning of Scorpio, at the beginning of Leo, at the beginning of Aquarius, then this grand fixed cross that has been going on for a good month may have been whipping your ass a little bit, but you have survived. With this lunation that is coming up, the new moon in Gemini that we're going to talk about today, we are closing it out, okay? Because with this lunation, Venus is exiting the grand fixed cross, and it means that there is a great relief, a great sigh. The pressure in the sky is, it is gone by now. And truly, this new moon in Gemini is pretty magical. And there are many layers to it, so I hope I can explain that to you. But of course, first we start at the beginning. It is a new moon, and that means that the sun and the moon are together in the sky, and they are together at 26 degrees and 44 minutes. So you can see where 26 degrees of Gemini falls in your chart. This is a pretty significant degree point because it is actually conjunct the fixed star Polaris, and Polaris is a big rabbit hole if you care to go down that. But basically it is like our cosmic compass. It is considered like the North Star. So often it is used for navigation purposes because it always faces the north, right? So it's like a guiding star. So that says a lot about this new moon. It is guiding us towards something. It is navigating us towards something that I hope will be clear at the end of this video. So a new moon, well, this is a time where a new chapter unfolds. Fresh energies start to come in. This is a big beginning, especially after that tense period. As I said, this is truly a great moment for wish fulfillment, for manifestation, for any kind of rituals you care to do. It is also conjunct the asteroid Juno, and Juno is all about commitment, partnerships, loving relationships. So since Gemini is the Lover's card in tarot, I would say that, the sign of the two twins, right, Gemini, together with Juno kind of indicates that this is also a great beginning for love, for loving commitment, for loving relationships. So that is pretty promising. You can do many manifestation rituals on that topic for this lunation. So Gemini, that is an interesting sign. The sun is in Gemini, and with this lunation, of course, the moon is there too. Now, Gemini, as I said, it represents the Roman numerology 2, so it represents anything that comes in pairs, in twos. It's why it represents our hands. There are 2 of those, our shoulders, our lungs, and also, partnerships together. Gemini is a very social sign. It loves to interact, connect, conversations. Because it's ruled by Mercury, it's all about communication and just a very busy mind, what you're thinking, what you're learning. It's about information. It's about curiosity, asking questions, wanting to learn more. It's about messages, receiving messages, writing up messages, thinking about messages. It's about words, the words you use and the impact of it. It's about ideas. There are lots of ideas when Gemini is involved. It's very much about the mind, right? So it's also about having a lot of options, a lot of choices, a lot of directions. Gemini loves diversity, is easily bored, so it cares to have a lot of things going on in their life. The only sort of downside to it is that, because so much is going on and so easily, the Gemini energy can be distracted easily. There is this sort of problem where it might be harder to finish something or to dedicate yourself to a certain choice. It's a very charming, playful, expressive energy. It's very youthful. It's very friendly. This is a time where we truly want to connect with someone, with multiple people, and, as this is a new moon, we might want to consider what kind of choices we want to make. And that might be the maybe hurdle of Gemini, like which choice would you go for then? So there could be a focus problem, and that's the only thing that kind of could hold you back with this new moon. But the possibilities are many, right? with the Gemini new moon. And it's more like what direction you want to take, especially because it's conjunct Polaris, right? Our North Star, and conjunct Juno. It's very much about what kind of connection you want to make, what kind of partnership you care to involve yourself with. Gemini is a very busy energy. There's a lot of movement going on. It's a quick energy. So things can rapidly manifest with this new moon as well. It could be a restless energy as well, kind of manic and frantic. So, some anxieties could also come up, especially with like what choice to make, what direction to take. But that focus is necessary, right, to make your to create your manifestations, to make them tangible. Gemini is a very adaptable sign. It's a mutable sign, so that chameleon energy of being able to adapt to multiple situations or different kind of environments or people or ideas is really beneficial. And philosophically, Gemini represents duality. So, it's why it's about anything with two, right? So multiple things, double things, split things, diversity. So the duality is interesting, where there could be a conflictuous situation in the sense that, like, as I said, a sort of philosophical battle in the mind where, what is love, what is hate, what is good, what is bad, what is north, what is south, and it all would require you to ask many questions for yourself and to be really curious of that path, and gather as much information as you can to learn as much as you can so that you could ultimately, with Gemini, overcome the duality. But that is a very evolved Gemini kind of energy. Since this lunation is squaring Neptune in Pisces at 27 degrees, which is almost exact, this is actually a great focus, a great pressure to indeed transcend the duality and go above the separation and, you know, the opposition of two energies and try to meet the middle. Except that might be really difficult because, you know, Neptune, where this lunation is squaring with, can create illusions, confusion, distortions, lies. So it might be really difficult to know what to do, what choice to make, where to go. Overcoming that duality, that Gemini energy, might be actually very difficult. The square to Neptune might indicate that we're missing some kind of information, or that we should be careful about making choices. I like to think of squares, the 90-degree angles, as an invitation to get our attention, to get our focus. And I think that we are entering a summer of great love, since Venus is in Leo for 4 months, as she will go retrograde. More of that a little bit later. So I feel that maybe with this last month of that big old grand fixed cross, that tension was a massive upgrade in energy, and I just feel that we require to evolve our ways of loving, our expression of love, and that our heart chakras are somehow activated more than ever, and that we really need to be able to express our love more strongly, more courageously, more confidently. And, you know, where there is love, there cannot be fear. So it's a fearlessness that we need to embrace. And I feel that this square of this lunation to Neptune, who's in Pisces, which is the higher octave of love, right? It's unconditional love. It's transcendental, like it, you know, it transcends this lifetime, this world. It's way beyond what we usually have experienced maybe here on Earth. And that, you know, it just brings to our attention how important love is, how important that transcendence of it is, and that it sort of is pushing us with this lunation to keep that in our minds, to regard that, you know, love, that profound love, maybe divine love, to be really important on our cosmic compass, on our navigation in this lifetime from here on. So, you know, it's no coincidence that Juno is here of partnerships, right? So the square to Neptune is no coincidence, and it's actually a really big topic that I will get into a little bit later as well, because that goes a little bit beyond normal astrology. So if you're not interested in that, it's at the end of this video that I'll get into that, because it's a big cosmic situation that Neptune is indicating as well, together with this lunation. So there is a major thing going on. This is a very special new moon in Gemini. It's very big. It's very cosmic. Like, it's resetting the energies. Like, maybe you've heard of the 5D and stuff like that. Doesn't matter if you believe in it. It's not required. It's all about energy, right? And doesn't matter if we call it 5D, 4D, 6D, whatever. The reality is that the energies are increasing and that they are uplifting and that they are certainly neutrally changing. And I think this new moon is a wonderful indication of that. And this lunation is also trining, which means 120 degrees to the south node in Scorpio, who is at the last degree, 1 degree of Scorpio, and soon it will exit Scorpio. It goes backwards, so it will move into Libra in July. So the fact that this lunation is making an aspect to the last degree in Scorpio is pretty significant. Scorpio is about deep transformation. It is the psychological understanding, the shadow work, right, that goes really deep into your subconscious mind. And it's all about clearing out, releasing, letting go, letting toxicity flow out. And it's regeneration, so that after the cleanup, you can be reborn and be more of your authentic self, to stand more in your own power, right? That's the South Node. And all that endings could also be karma, right? And even if you don't believe in karma, it is ending of soul contracts, right? So this is where this lunation, being a really new, fresh chapter, really strong cosmic energies that go beyond what we usually have on this earth, really inviting us to step up clearly. And this trine to the South Node is like, it's the beginning means the ending of certain soul contracts that have been holding us back, but it could also be thought patterns. It could also be, toxic beliefs or toxic programs that have been habitually keeping us in a certain energy or storyline, right? So this new moon, where an influx of major energies, upgrades are coming in, simultaneously means a lot letting go of the past, of, what's holding you back, of the karma, of the soul contracts. So this indicates that, to me, this new moon actually starts a new soul contract. This lunation is new karma, fresh karma, because after that grand fixed cross, a lot has been deleted, at least energetically or even realistically in a tangible way. So a lot has been cleared out due to the last month of intense energies. And now, really, with this new moon, we are embarking on a new journey, a new soul journey, where I feel we are more in power, more stepping into the creational power that each of us have. And that's why this new moon is a wonderful opportunity for manifestations that would be wise to use if you care for that. If we look at the ruler of this lunation, that is Mercury, right? Mercury rules Gemini. And just like Gemini, it's very much about the mind, about our information collection, about learning, about the use of words, about communication, right? It's, by the way, also about business and mobility. But here it's in Gemini as well. So Mercury is super comfortable. It's at home. And also, interestingly, it's at 11 degrees, which is, 1-1, just like Gemini. It is, looks like a 2, Roman number 2. And it's actually sextiling a Venus who's also at 11 degrees, however, in Leo. So for all of you into numerology and angel numbers, it's interesting that this sextile is between 11 degrees and 11 degrees between Venus, who's all about love, and Mercury in Gemini is the Lover's card. So 1111, is there something really cosmic, divine love going on here? The sextile between Mercury and Venus indicates that there is some kind of a news about love. Maybe you are having, a lot of conversations about love. Maybe you're receiving text or like a phone call from someone you care for. Maybe this is resetting your mind to value yourself more so that you're open for these, great cosmic, divine, loving connections. And this is just where our mind is very busy with love, romance, and even abundance, love, like money, And it's easier for us to confess or express our love that comes straight from the heart. So there's a great heart-mind connection going on with Mercury sextile Venus. Interestingly, Venus is going to go into the pre-shadow phase the day after this lunation, the 19th, June 19th. And that means that Venus is slowing down and she's making herself ready to go retrograde, which to us seemingly looks like she's going a little bit backwards, but she's not, of course. It's just energetically. And the Venus retrograde is something we will encounter over the summer. I'll give you some dates. It starts, the retrograde itself is from July 23rd till September 4th. That is a good 40 days, 1.5 months of Venus going retrograde. And since Venus is the planet of love, relationships, self-worth, our style, our, decoration, beauty, art, and also money, what we find valuable. So all these themes will be highlighted when Venus is retrograde, and more in the sense that we are invited by the universe to reflect on these themes, to reevaluate these topics and see what is, what's at the heart center of the issues. Like, because it's in Leo, right? It's very much about the heart. It's very much about courage, about being fearless, about boldly, stepping into love, romance, and valuing yourself very much, where you are far more easy to take center stage and to express yourself freely and lovingly. It's a very bold energy, Venus and Leo. But when it goes retrograde, it's more about going back and looking at these themes and what you could do to embrace more of that courage, to embrace more of that fearlessness, to embrace your heart's power and the expressiveness that comes from your heart, to, shine more brightly in what you could do or feel to get you there, right? And this could also be a reflection on romance and relationships and like what you find important in that. So it's a reflective period, and often astrologers will tell you that it is not a good time to start new relationships because, the desire is a little bit lower when Venus is retrograde, or like begin a new style or look, because, you know, you might not be satisfied with that, especially when the retrograde is over. You'll be like, what did I do to myself? How am I looking now? It's not what I want. So, you know, it's not a good time to like do anything aesthetically. So aesthetic operations, cosmetic operations are not a good time when Venus is retrograde. Also, big investments are not very wise, and stuff like that, right? It's what we usually say. However, you know, as astrology evolves, as we all evolve, it's not as rigid as, you know, there are not rules. It's just that you might want to be more careful when you make decisions about these topics, because Venus is just not in power. So it's just not in her strength. So if you consider that while making decisions on the Venus topics, then it will be more beneficial for yourself. But there are always, you know, exceptions to the story. Like, I have Venus retrograde in my chart. So for me, it's actually more of a natural period. And all of the don't do's don't apply then, you know. So it's with everything, navigate with your intuition and go with what feels best. But, you know, that love and romance will be high on our list is clear with this chart. Also, because Venus is conjunct Mars, who's also in Leo. So this is the masculine and the feminine energies are very high in the romance energies, and just there's a harmony and a heart opening. As I said, a heart activation. You know, the heart chakra is opening up to be far more expressive than normal, and to really just feel that loving connection. And it's interesting, right? After many years of, you know, this global health issue that has been going on, where a lot of people have been isolated, and, you know, maybe the romance flame was a little bit lower than usual, unless you already had someone. But so it's interesting that, you know, this is more of a summer of love, even though Venus is going to go retrograde. So for this lunation, it will be a very strong energy, because Venus is not yet going retrograde. It's going to go into pre-shadow the day after, meaning slowing down. So this lunation is, I guess, the highest point where, you know, there's still so much clarity around love and romance, and this enhances the importance of this manifestation and creational portal that this new moon in Gemini is opening for us. Other than that, there is also actually a kite pattern going on. Now, astrology charts can make geometrical patterns. And these geometrical patterns, you know, bring extra heightened energy with them. And a kite formation looks like, you know, a kite that we, you know, waver in the air, mostly children. So the kite is involved in this lunation situation. The kite is pointing towards the North Node, who is at the last degree of Taurus, also going to leave Taurus in July. So Jupiter is there too, which is highlighting the North Node. And this kite is just indicating that we need to move towards that, the North Node in Taurus, being expanded and highlighted and made bigger by Jupiter. And just the Jupiter element has brought more inspiration, more upliftment, more inspiration to the North Node energies. And what is that? Well, the desire to live more natural, the desire to follow your feelings, to follow your heart, to to take it maybe more simple and thinking about your comfort, your safety, and being more independent and self-sufficient, self-sustainable, and also thinking about your environment. All these topics have been enhanced over these last 1.5 years, and this lunation is also involved in bringing a lot of attention to it, maybe for once and for all, to remember how important these Taurus energies are. So with this new moon, again, there is just a great manifestation portal on this topic as well. The lunation being involved in this kite is telling us, bring this into your wishing, bring this into your creations, that, it's wise to take it more simple, more natural, connect more to nature, ground your wishes and energy in earth, and make these wishes and manifestations very tangible, very realistic. Build something that you admire, that you feel really good about, and that the pleasure element is really important in it. And I feel that that's also connected to the whole relationship, love energy. That's like a, big underlying theme here. So now a little bit of a complicated astrology analysis. As I pointed out to you, this lunation, this new moon in Gemini at 26 degrees of Gemini, is conjunct Juno, but also conjunct Polaris, the fixed star Polaris, which is our North Star, right? Our guiding star, our navigational star, our cosmic compass. This is right opposite the galactic center that is at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. And my fellow astrologer, wonderful astrologer, the cosmic space witch, calls this the axis mundi, which is like the tree of life between the black hole of our Milky Way galaxy that we're in, which is that galactic center, is, obviously the center of our universe, sort of the, the black hole is the fertile womb kind of energy, the center that holds everything together for us in this galaxy. So it's like our roots. And, the opposition where this new moon is taking place is where we're guided to, right? It's where we need to grow to. It's where the branches of the tree of life grow towards, right? So Polaris is really important in showing us the way, with cosmic knowledge. It's very esoteric. And, all these points, these super massive black holes, which are, the centers of our galaxies, are part of, obviously, consciousness. So it's very expanded, higher consciousness and awareness. And the fact that this new moon is triggering a lot of these points is really significant. As I said, this explains why, I have felt it, but this astrological occurrence shows us that there truly is an influx of massive cosmic energies, massive upgrades. And if it's in Gemini and, I would say there's like an acceleration of energy. It's just things are moving faster. It's easier to connect, to come together, as Gemini is that social sign, right? And it's about information, which means that our minds are like being upgraded. Like our minds, what we think, what we express, our words are very creational, right? Are very important to create the life that you want, the life you desire, the heartfelt life, right? So the mind needs to be evolved, the mind needs to be upgraded, and we just need higher information. And this new moon indicates that indeed that is going to happen, that it's already happening. And you know, the best thing you can do is just to be open to receive this, and to, you know, be curious about like what's going on, what can I learn from this is so interesting, right? Not only is this new moon triggering this galactic cosmic energy of upgrades, but you know, Neptune is squaring, or actually T-squaring this axis Mundi, which, as I said, brings great attention and focus. Like, we have to look at this. And what is this? It means more spiritual understanding, heightened intuition, really listening to your own vibrational field, being connected to the divine and having spiritual practices to enhance that relationship, to keep it really strong and solid, because seemingly we are entering a very important cosmic, mystical, magical time frame where everything is new. Like, a lot of the things that were holding us back, constricting our ability to live profoundly, have sort of been deleted. So now the path is really opening to bring higher love into this world, to bring that spiritual transcendence where we understand more of our soul and our innate powers, that, you know, all of this information has somehow been kept away from us. But this lunation clearly shows, and this particular pattern, this being a mutable grand cross. So it's a grand mutable cross, that the Galactic Center in Sagittarius, the new moon in Gemini, and Neptune in Pisces versus Ceres is making. And it's a bit complicated, as I said, but let's get back to the Neptune in Pisces. That is bringing just a lot of attention and the need to bring that into this situation here now. That it's up to us to, as I said, have a stronger intuition, have a stronger divine connection, and a stronger sense of love, albeit unconditional, you know, forgiving, healing, and, you know, a wealth of emotions. You know, emotions are energy in motion. So this means just a lot of upgrades through energy. Like, it's an energetic upgrade, and we can feel it through emotions, right? Through feelings. And the feelings are just messages. They're just information, like the Gemini new moon is telling us. Just be curious, be questioning, and be very inviting to these energies. This is going to bring us much further along, and it's going to be very beneficial. We're lucky that it's mutable signs, which is, you know, a mutable grand cross is easier, is one of the easiest crosses that we have. You know, the fixed grand cross that we had this last month was the hardest. So it's interesting that, you know, actually this situation has been going on for a while, but it's not new. This mutable cross, grand cross of, you know, the galactic centers and Polaris and Neptune have actually been going on for since, in my awareness, since the Sun conjunct Mercury, which is, you know, a Cazimi, as we call in astrology, that took place around May 11th. So if you're journaling, it's very interesting. What did you think about during May 11th? Because that was when this cosmic divine consciousness upgrade was definitely going on. And this new moon is just bringing in this wonderful influx of energies that's just making more clear where we can navigate towards, that, you know, what are the options we want to follow, where do we want life to take us to. And it's just beyond what we're usually it's beyond the usual limitations. Like, this is a limitless energy. This is beyond, like, this is what we would call magical, what we would call mystical energies. There's a great enhancement of this going on. Now, opposite Neptune, bear with me, is Ceres, who to some is a dwarf planet, to some is an asteroid. She is the mother goddess of Earth. Ceres protects Earth. It's about nurturing. It's about self-nurturing. She's that mama energy, right? So it's very much about fertility, about food, about nourishment, nurturing. And she's opposite Neptune at 29 degrees of Virgo. So Ceres is involved in this big mutable grand cross together with Neptune, which is way above, which means cosmic. We have the Mother Earth. We have the cosmic divine energy. We have the galactic center, and then we have Polaris, our guiding star, our cosmic compass. So do we need more information to give us the confirmation that things are changing in this world? And no matter what people are, you know, fear-mongering that, you know, it's this problem, that problem, this agenda, that agenda, this energy to me tells me that the whole, you know, light workers, 5D crowd are actually right. Because this is bringing in major upgrades, major consciousness evolvement. Like, we're really going to feel cosmic divine love, and it has been absent for a very long time. So it might be a little bit uneasy, and that's probably that tension of the you know, mutable grand cross. Because there are 2 oppositions and 4 squares. So it's like, ooh, awkward. This is not feeling good. This is a little bit uncomfortable, and it's very eye-opening, and it's very confrontational. It might not always be easy because of this, right? So, but the whole point is that it's sort of being forced upon us. Like, this is not something we can hold back. Resistance will be futile because it will only create personal problems or collective problems. Like, this is happening, right? This is a wheel that's turning, and I think this new moon is a great moment where we can find more responsibility in all of this that is happening. Like, take your responsibility to create the life that you want, to be that navigational bright star for others, for yourself, to follow what you want in partnership. And that partnership seemingly looks like, yeah, sort of a divine impression or copy, or, you know, the way to really change the world is through love. It sounds cliche, but how many people are actually doing it, right? So just love. I was thinking the other day, loving, to love is free. And it's especially free when you truly love yourself, because from that cup that is full, it is very easy to share love. And it's not just a partner. You can love everything and everybody, right? To just radiate that and share it out and see the changes occur, right? I mean, it's just mathematical. Like, there's no other way. Change will occur if that is the way of being, if that is how you center yourself. And Ceres is actually conjunct also the super galactic center, which is the massive black hole holding the galaxy of Andromeda. And that is the nearest galaxy to us. And it is said that in a couple million years, Andromeda, I don't know, and us, the Milky Way, are going to collapse and form a mega galaxy together. And I think that's interesting because it would explain why they're squaring currently. The Galactic Center, our galaxy, Milky Way, is at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. And it's out of sign, but it's squaring the super galactic center, Andromeda, at 2 degrees of Libra. So our Earth Mother is getting massive upgrades from the Andromeda galaxy. And, I can't go too deeply into it. I also lack the knowledge, to be honest. But Andromeda is about, the Andromeda princess. There's a great love story here with Perseus. So to me, this is also about love, and especially in Libra, at 2 degrees of Libra, I would say, there is just massive loving energies coming in, and we're invited with this new moon to use it, to not abuse it, and to really be the change, to be more loving, and to investigate this. Like, what is this all about? How can you love more? How can you share that more? How can, how can this be part of your social interaction? How can this be more in your mind? How can this be more in your words, in your thoughts? And this is how we create the loving reality that we desire. So I think this is a very magical, wonderful new moon full of great cosmic opportunities. And I hope this was somehow touching you, at least on a soul level, I hope. and awakening you to how important truly love is. So I wish you a wonderful, loving new moon in Gemini, and make use of those wonderful wishes and great portal that's opening up for us. Enjoy it. See you in the next lunation situation. Bye.